Good evening, guys. Welcome. Some of you might recognise the Cottage Bar. Arthur Thompson, the Godfather.
Is he on there, aye?
Joe Hanlon, Bobby Glover, and the Ford Orion. Probably parked in this wee street somewhere here. The funeral courtyards passing. But that's not what we're here to talk about, guys, tonight. Tonight we're going to be talking about the ghost of IRN BRU SUE. A lot of people think Glasgow's just famous for gangsters, Celtic, Rangers, architecture, but no, we've got our share of ghosts and ghouls as well. And tonight on Double T TV we'll be sharing the story of the ghost that haunts the Cottage Bar behind me, IRN BRU SUE. So let's gather round and I'll tell you the true story. Well, as true as any of the stories that are kicking about Glasgow just now. The true story of IRN BRU SUE. Sue was 18 years old. She was brought up in a children's home from probably the age of about 1 or 2. She was left there on the doorstep with her parents, who were never found. Sue had recently moved out of the children's home and she got herself a wee flat here on the Shettleston Road. A wee single end. MD doesn't know what a wee single end is, it's just a wee small flat, a room and kitchen. But it was walking distance from the new job she acquired in the IRN BRU factory, hence the name IRN BRU SUE, and walking distance to the Cottage Bar where she frequented and made a lot of friends. Sue was an attractive girl, a funny girl, very quick-witted, and she loved a wee joke. After a few weeks of settling in her new job and her new flat, Sue was enjoying life. The money was coming in, the rent was getting paid, life was good. It was Friday night. Sue was looking forward to her usual night out. A couple of wee vodkas and IRN BRU in the Cottage Bar. But her friends were busy tonight and had let her down. So she decided to go alone. Even though her friends had let her down, Sue went to the Cottage Bar alone. She ordered an IRN BRU and vodka and found a quiet table in the corner. She pulled out a wee sketchbook and she started doodling away. She was a bit of a doodler, a comedian, she loved her jokes. She was quite an interesting girl, our Sue was. A stranger walked into the bar. A man we now know as John. He ordered a pint. He was quite close by from where Sue was sitting. He caught her eye. He asked her if he could sit beside her, and she obliged. She was a friendly girl. They got chatting, and after a few drinks, John asked her, "Do you want to come to the Barrowlands with me? We'll go for a wee dance." Sue wasn't too sure, she didn't know the guy, and she wasn't one of these girls that just upped and went out with strangers. She says, "Let me think about it, we'll have another drink and I'll let you know." After a couple of more drinks, John felt comfortable enough to lean in for a kiss, and Sue says to him, "What, you don't take my eye out with that big nose of yours?" John wasn't happy. He didn't like the joke. He says, "What do you mean by that, hen? You're a bit cheeky, aren't you?" She says to him, "No, I'm not cheeky. When you walked in that door, I seen your nose 30 seconds before I seen you." John wasn't a happy chappy. He was fuming. He was raging. Aye, he was not happy at all. Where the couple were sitting in the bar, they were out of sight of most drinkers, and John was raging. He grabbed Sue by the throat, and he squeezed and he squeezed and he squeezed until Sue became lifeless. Sue was dead. John calmly finished his pint, stood up and walked out the door. As he walked out, a little black Bible fell from his pocket. He didn't notice it and left the pub. About 5 minutes later, the drinker was going to the toilet and he noticed Sue slumped in the corner. He gave her a wee pat just to make sure she was okay, and realised she was stone dead. He summoned the alarm, he told the barman, they phoned the ambulance, they phoned the police. Nothing could be done. Sue was gone. John was gone. Never found again. And the crime was never solved. Now to this day, drinkers and frequenters of the cottage bar say they hear the whisperings of a young lady. But this is Glasgow, guys. We don't have ordinary ghosts and ghouls in Glasgow. What we have in Glasgow is ghosts with a bit about them. A wee bit of banter. There was a recent report, a taxi driver just finished his shift, had parked the car up for the night. He was going to have a quick pint before walking home. So he just sat down, wee corner in the cottage bar, supping away at his pint, thinking how tough a day he had. And he heard this wee whisper of a young lady in his ear, saying, "You think you've had a hard day, son? How do you think I feel? Huh? I've been stuck in this bar for 50 years, dead. My soul is stuck here till that murdering bastard John's been caught." So stop your whinging, you big-nosed bastard, and finish your pint and get out of here. Taxi driver nearly shat his pants. He couldn't get out of that bar fast enough, and he was never to return. So if you're ever in the cottage bar for a pint or a wee glass of wine, always remember, legend has it that if you buy an IRN BRU and a vodka and sit it on the table beside you or the bar beside you, IRN BRU SUE will not bother you. Thanks for watching. Good night.